Welcome back to Life After Trauma. I am so excited to be back with you and recording a solo episode of the podcast today. You may have noticed that there haven't been any new episodes out since October. And today we're going to chat a little bit about what's been going on. This has been a season for me of really focusing inward, and we'll get a little bit more into that. But the intention for this episode is really just presence over performance. We're just going to chat and return to this space that we've created. A lot has changed for me over the past few months. And 2025 was, I think, a rough year for most people, but I was very much in that category. I am just feeling really good in this space, and I am feeling so ready to come back to recording. And like I am in a place again where I've taken care of myself and like I have more to give you again. We have to sometimes pull back from what we're doing to be able to take care of ourselves. And there are those seasons, those harder seasons, and that's okay to do that. And that's totally normal to do that. And when you come back, you can come back with value. I want to ask you, how many of us are going through something heavy quietly while we still want to be seen as holding it all together? This tension between those two states of carrying something heavy and wanting to still be seen as having it all together, that tension has been so present in my life. I have been showing up a lot lately and honestly really enjoying it and have been taking a lot of enjoyment from my life again. But I realized that there's a version of me that you're seeing online that is the put together Jess, the Jess that is out there doing things. And I am not that Jess always. I am always the strong Jess, but in different ways. And I thought it was time to share a little bit more about the side that you're not always seeing. So I mentioned that 2025 was a hard year and a lot of different things happened. It was hard for a lot of different reasons. But at the end of the year, maybe about a week before Christmas, I received a health diagnosis that flipped my life upside down. And it took a lot of time to process. Honestly, I'm still processing it. I still wake up in the morning and think, okay, yes, I only have like 2 more weeks of this and then I'm done. I can go back to regular life. But that's not the case. I was diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease. So that means that it's something that I will be living with for the rest of my life. And the medication that I'm on right now is kind of like a Band-Aid. It's just meant to stabilize me. And so when I say that I wake up in the morning thinking, yes, I only have like a week left and then I can go back to life as normal, it's because that's when that medication ends and I am transitioning over into a more long-term treatment. But this will be something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. It really has brought up a lot of things for me. It's challenged my identity, um the feeling of just being like a healthy person, you know? It now means that there are so many things that I have to consider that I never had to consider before. And in a way, it feels like I've lost some freedom. That's hard to talk about. In reality, the way that I was living before this, in 2025 especially, I was living in so much pain and I had no energy and I couldn't show up for the things that I want to show up for in the ways that I wanted to show up. So, really, the long term treatment is actually giving me some life back. And while this is obviously all very specific to my situation, the things that you can take away from this is that sometimes we find ourselves in situations that we don't have control over, and we have to find a way to live with it. And so during this time, I really needed some extra support, and I created a meditation series that is called When You've Been Holding It All Together. I made these meditations for me to help me get through this time. There's 5 different tracks, and they take you through um a different challenge. So the first one is When You've Been Holding It All Together, which is all about recognition and just being seen and acknowledging where you are right now. The second track is When Fear and Uncertainty Take Over. I've had to listen to that one quite a few times because it's scary having your life flip upside down and being in a place that is completely unfamiliar is scary. And not knowing fully what my future looks like, that uncertainty is scary. And then the third track is when you're overwhelmed and you can't turn your mind off. Because so often when we're in this place, our mind will just start going, running with all of the fears or anything, right? I wrote down an entire list of what if and all of those fears and uncertainties that were coming up. But sometimes you need a specific approach to an overwhelmed mind. And maybe it's not overwhelmed because of fear. Maybe it's overwhelmed because of the amount of things that you have to do in a day, or all of the different hats and roles that you're juggling. Then we move into the fourth track, which is called When Your Emotions Feel Overpowering and Out of Control. This track, this track is one of my favorites. I think the last two, this one and the next one, are probably my favorites. But I mean, it's exactly what it says. When your emotions are so overpowering and you feel like you just don't have control anymore. You feel like you are going to react in ways that you don't want to react. This is the track for you. And then the last one is When You Feel Disconnected from Your Body. And this is when we bring it all home. Quite literally, bring it all home. Bring it home to yourself. And we reconnect with the body. Because the truth is that no matter what I'm going through in my life, what you're going through in your life, if we can come home to ourselves, come back to our body, and be present in the moment, you can get through anything that you're facing, and that power lives in your body. These tracks, these meditations, like I mentioned, I made them for myself, but I decided to make them available to you because they were such a help and support to me during this time. And so they are available on my website if you are at all interested in checking that out. But the main thing here is that during these hard times, during these hard seasons, we don't want to let them define us. You can go through a hard season and not let it define you. And for me, that was through coming home to my body and through regulating my nervous system and my emotions. There have been times throughout this past month, especially since my diagnosis, where I felt really challenged by my own mind, by having the thought that this diagnosis was who I am now and that it was going to control life. I had to notice each time that my mind went there to really just come back because, like I said before, you can acknowledge that you're going through a hard time. I don't want to resist the reality of what I'm dealing with. In that, if I chose to resist what I'm actually dealing with, that would put more stress on me anyway, because you're resisting the truth. But if you can acknowledge that you're going through a hard time, but choose to not accept that as who you are, or to not let that define you, that's the place where we can take our power back. I've had to really learn how to trust myself and trust my body and honor my body. There have been a lot of times in my life that I would abandon myself, abandon how I was feeling, choose to suppress it, choose to ignore it, choose to push through it. That caused more harm to myself. And this season has shown me that that's not an option anymore. And it's been hard to learn how to trust myself, especially hard to learn how to not abandon myself. It just comes in small, everyday moments. It would be noticing that my energy wasn't there that day, or knowing that if I eat something, it's going to hurt me, or knowing that maybe a certain person or a certain event or a certain place, I know that if I go there or if I do that or if I talk to this person, I know it's going to drain me, and my energy is so incredibly precious now because I don't have an infinite amount of it. It's about learning yourself, being aware, and choosing to believe that even though you are now setting boundaries to take care of yourself, that you will be okay. If you're worried about missing out, or if somebody is going to leave your life because you set a boundary, or fear of losing something because you're choosing to take care of yourself. Maybe fear that you won't be successful if you're not showing up in the way that we're told that we have to show up. It's about trusting yourself that you will be able to handle what comes again when you're present and in your body. And when you really build that self trust, it actually grows your confidence. Because I know confidently that if I'm speaking to you from a place of truth in myself and trust in myself, this message will land with the person who's meant to hear it. So I know this was maybe a lot to take in, but I am just so excited for the future of this podcast and for the guests that I'm going to continue to have on and the way that we're going to grow and the community that we're building around this podcast. I am planning to do solo episodes occasionally. It will probably mostly be guest episodes still, but I think it would be nice to be able to come on here and connect with you a little bit closer. So, if you have any questions that you would want answered on the podcast, either by me or with a guest, but I'm thinking specifically for solo episodes, you can send them to me and I will answer any listener questions, anything that you might have in our solo episodes. You can send any questions that you have to me on Instagram at Jess Vanrose, or you can email them to me at lifeaftertrauma.podcast@gmail.com. I just want to thank you for being here and for supporting the show and for supporting me. And I am really looking forward to the future. And I hope that we get to connect more. And I just want to state again that it's okay to be holding things quietly. If you want to explore the meditation series, I will leave a link in the show notes. But most of all, I want you to know that whatever you're going through, you're not alone in this. Until next time, take care of your mind, body, and soul.